you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR Indy car? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, episode number who knows what. I don't know. We're way up there, over 200 at this point. But who's counting, man? It's we're winding things, or ramping things up, I guess, on our way to 5 years. But man, I've been doing this for quite some time now. Lose track of it. But today is a day like none other. I don't know. How do you say that, man? I'm already getting messed up, and we're a minute and a half into the show. Man, it's going to be a long 2 hours today. It's going to be like no other show. Stepping out of the box a bit today. Once in a while we do that on this show. You know me. I'm a fan of a lot of open wheel and stuff like that. It's Indy 500 week. We don't normally talk Indy 500. It's kind of out of our wheelhouse a bit, but had the opportunity to have Marco Andretti on air, and you know what? We're going to have Marco Andretti on air here in, a few minutes right after the commercial break. Marco will be on the line. Stoked for that. Not only that, we got Jarrett Brooks, my General Tire teammate, absolutely killing it in Lucas Oil Short Course. He's going to be on the line. My good friend Kristen Kenney. We're going to be debuting our new segment called GRC Curtain Call. And Joe Duncan from Terracross going to be joining Amy Hood and I. Man, a lot going into this 2 hours of radio. Strap in, hang tight. It's going to be one heck of a ride here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, and we've got Marco Andretti on the line. How's everything going, Marco?
Not too bad. How you guys doing?
I am doing well, my friend. Well, obviously it's Indy 500 week. It's one of your biggest weeks of the year. I know qualifying, it probably didn't go quite as you expected, but heard what you guys had a problem with the gearbox or something. You were missing fifth gear.
Yeah, we've had a lot of problems this month. I mean, practice hasn't gone to plan. We found a big downforce problem deficit to my teammate, and then we found an engine deficit for day one of qualifying, which is, I think, the reason we weren't in the top 9. We were looking like pole contenders for a while, but, and then, yesterday, day 2 qualifying, we had to single speed it into the wind, so we lost some speed there. But still as confident as ever, starting 14th. I mean, it's a 500-mile race, and, guarantee we can get the H.H. Gregg Snapple machine to the front for sure.
Yeah, well, and that being said, I mean, it is the Indy 500, and, it seems like, with the race this long and with Indy being Indy, you can win from pretty much anywhere in the field.
Yeah, I mean, a cool stat, I'm not sure if it's true, but one of my friends, I haven't looked it up yet, but one of my friends said that Montoya started 14th last year and won the race, so that's a good thing. And then the year before, Ryan was 16th or 17th, so 19th even, yeah. So, it's a long race. You have to drive probably the first 400 miles like a bit of a marathon, just getting yourself in position, and then the last 100 is go for it. Yeah.
Well, I got to ask you, because I come from, I guess, a legacy of off-road drivers out here in the Southwest, so I've been around this sport since, the time I was, 6 months old, probably even earlier than that, right? Well, I mean, what was it like for you being Andretti and growing up Andretti? I mean, obviously, your grandfather was racing, your dad was racing. I mean, you were at Indy every single year. I mean, how was that experience growing up? Because it had to be different than other kids, I mean, being at the track all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it just became normal for me, right? Because I don't really know what it's like otherwise. It's, it's something as a kid I wanted to be at the racetrack, whether it was with dad or my grandfather or at a go-kart track by myself. So, it's just something that just became normal for me.
Yeah, well, it's got to be really cool, special feeling growing up, seeing Indy, and knowing the hype factor, and then, when you finally get to drive in the Indy 500, now coming back each and every year, I mean, it's got to be something special for you just because the family does have such a legacy there, whether you want to believe in the quote Andretti curse or not.
I definitely don't. My answer to that is always that, we're blessed as a family. We've competed over 70 times here, and we're all healthy, so in an ideal world, I have another 10 to 12 shots at it. So I think we can do a lot of great things in those years. And, if there's one that if I had the choice which one to win, it's definitely this year, the 100th. So we're definitely excited.
Yeah, well, and your family's played a big part in that, this being the 100th anniversary. I mean, you yourself have finished second. You found yourself on the podium numerous times there. I mean, what's it going to take to win at Indy this weekend, and being that it's the 100th anniversary? I mean, what's it going to take to move from that second spot up to first? Just doing what we've been doing. We've been in the shootout the last couple years.
So I think if it's going to be another shootout, as long as we're in it, hopefully our numbers pick this year and we can get the H.H. Gregg machine to the front.
Yeah. Well, that being said, I know you mentioned H.H. Gregg. I know they've been a big part of your guys' program this year, signing with Andretti Autosport for the 100th Indy 500. I mean, how's that been working with H.H. Gregg? I know you guys have had a lot of promotions and tie-ins you guys have been doing.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, they had us doing an RC event last week, which was it was interesting. I'm pretty bad at that, but it was a lot of fun. There's a huge turnout actually up at the I think it was 96th Street. H.H. Gregg, and it was fun. I won a lot of races, which was good. It's been a fun partnership so far, but we look forward to the future. Hopefully a lot of success.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you, and this is total side note just because I work with Red Bull Global Rallycross quite a bit, but I happen to know, obviously I know Tanner and Scott, the Andretti drivers over there, Tanner sweeping this past weekend, but I got to ask, I think it was last year, I know at one point you were so darn close to running a GRC event that they actually printed up a driver's uniform for you. And I don't know if anybody knows it or if you even know it, but I've seen pictures of the GRC driver's uniform. So is there any chance we're ever going to see Marco Andretti running a Red Bull GRC event?
It's possible, but I did one test. But yeah, I don't think it, we were talking about basically looking at the schedule and seeing if we can do one. Yeah. But they wanted full-time drivers over there. We're trying to get a star car over there, which, let me and Ryan and maybe Carlos have a go. But I did a test and I equaled Scott Speed's time, so it was looking good. But those guys have so much seat time in it would be hard to jump in and win straight away, which that's sort of the only way I would look at doing it.
Yeah, and Indy drivers have consistently, your open wheel guys, transferred well to that series. But definitely something you need to get up to speed. But that being said, what's on tap for you the rest of this week? Obviously, a lot of build up to the 100th running of the Indy 500. I mean, what's your schedule look like? I mean, at some point, do you ever get any time to yourself, this week to really focus on the event, or are you just doing stuff like this? I mean, media and PR and hype all week long.
There's a lot of build up for this one. I always say that, the Indy 500, I can't wait to strap in and relax. But, we're actually, funny enough, I do get some time to myself where, we go to New York City tonight after practice, a lot of media obligations tomorrow. And then, I'm actually going to get home to my house for tomorrow night. So, I'm home for like 10, 12 hours, but we'll take it.
Yeah, well, that's got to feel good, finally getting to be at home. I mean, hotels and motorhomes and everything else, it's got to be nice being in your own bed, even if it's just for 10, 12 hours.
Yeah, we'll just go hit the reset button.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that being said, I know you recently got engaged, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was, February 5th we got engaged, yep.
Nice. So she been around the family a lot. She knows what she's getting into with a race car driver, right?
Oh yeah. She knows the commitment level it takes, and she's super supportive of my career and my job. It's definitely a life-dominating sport, and she understands that. She's a good girl. We've been dating for 4 years, so we're looking to, maybe if I win Indy, we can get married this year, but we're looking at next year.
You need that extra Indy 500 paycheck to be able to get married, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, heading into this weekend, obviously, you talk about, some of the stuff we've got going on track this weekend. I mean, obviously, how's the car? I mean, what do you guys got to do this week? We've had qualifying, that's done now. I mean, what kind of changes? I mean, what kind of development work do you guys got to put into the car to get it ready for race day?
Well, on top of the other issues that we talked about, I mean, I've had a big downforce issue when we were practicing race trim earlier in the week, and luckily we found that, but unluckily I haven't really felt my car in race trim yet. So today is a very important day, and I have no doubt that in the 3.5 hours of practice we can end the day confident. So that's the goal.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Marco. I know you're awful busy with a ton of obligations and stuff, but appreciate you taking the time to call into the show this weekend or this week. And good luck this weekend at the Indy 500. We'll definitely be pulling for you, my friend.
All righty. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marco. Yeah, it was Marco, man. Thanks for calling in, my friend. And Great to step out of the Action Motorsports box once in a while and interview somebody like Marco Andretti. Just man, the Andretti name. I mean, just honor to interview an Andretti. I mean, geez, top to bottom. I mean, they've all accomplished so much. I mean, Marco, a ton of podiums there at Indy. And here's hoping this year is the year he breaks on through and takes home that victory. Gets to drink the milk on the bricks. I don't know. This weekend, we don't talk pavement on this much other than Formula D, but I got to tell you, I'm pretty damn stoked over this weekend of racing. I kind of ignore the Coke 600, but Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix. I'm a Monaco Grand Prix fan. I'm a Formula One nut. Definitely going to be locked and loaded. Getting up early this weekend to tune into lots and lots of racing, that's for sure. So we're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We come back. Amy Hood and I are on the line talking about, I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but it's going to be a ton of fun here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and just got done with Marco Andretti, and I don't know, how's everything been with you, Amy? I got some good news to share with you at some point here in this segment.
Oh, you do? On the segment, on the show?
Yeah, well, it's good news for me. Everybody else is going to think I'm a complete idiot, but yeah. So you ride motocross and you do some free riding and stuff like that. I don't know how much free riding you get to do in Canada. I mean, here in the Southwest, guys free riding all the time, right? Well, me being an off-road driver, like whether it's in a Razor or whatever, I'm always looking for, a hit or something like that you've never seen before. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where, you're always looking for something new to hit or to film or something like that, right? So now I've got this Hyper Blue Subaru WRX STI, right? So I can't necessarily get rowdy on city streets. There's all kinds of stuff I can do in this car, but you got to find a good spot to do it in that you're not going to get arrested and things like that, because that doesn't really look good, right? So I've got all this stuff I want to do. So I'm out kind of exploring last week. I was out on a graded dirt road, kind of a rally type road, and I was just out driving. And, going down some roads I'd never been out in the desert. So I found this stretch, and it's like a mile long. It's got a slight curve to it of asphalt out in the middle of nowhere. And it's a graded dirt road to get to this asphalt. And, so I'm looking at this going, oh my gosh, like it's totally off the grid. I basically have 1 mile of asphalt. And it's a little chunked out, but it's still it's asphalt out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows about it. And it's all to myself, and I can literally do whatever the heck I want, donuts, slides, whatever, and I don't have to worry about getting in trouble, running from the cops, nothing. So I'm seriously, it was like Christmas when I found that.
It's like a playground for Jim Beaver. I
Yes,
get it.
Exactly.
That's kind of weird, though. I wonder what the whole plan of having a piece of asphalt in the middle of nowhere was supposed to be. So.
No, me neither, but I'm just stoked I found it. Seriously, ear-to-ear grin right now, because I can't wait to get some GoPros out there and start filming some Subaru shenanigans. So there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. So how's everything been with you? What's up in Amy Hood's world? How's the street bike? You've been killing it on that thing lately.
Oh, my goodness. I'm absolutely in love with my Yamaha R3. It's so sick, and it's been so beautiful out here. We had a long weekend, so no racing this weekend. Usually we have the long weekends off. Yesterday was a holiday for us. But yeah, I know the weather's been so great. I've just been riding my bike everywhere I can. And we actually have the big ride for Dad. The whole reason of me actually getting a street bike is this Saturday, and I'm super, super excited. Apparently, we are expected to have 1,700 bikes participate in this event, and it's really cool because we have this main strip in Winnipeg. It's called Portage Avenue, and we get police escorted down Portage Avenue all the way out of the city. But it's really, I guess the coolest thing is all the bikes start up at one time, so the whole city rumbles and grumbles, and apparently it's just a sight and sound to be seen, and I can't wait to be a part of it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, is it all these Harleys and then here's Amy on the R3? Is that the way this deal's working?
No, actually, you get people. Okay, so the Ride for Dad is in support of prostate cancer. We're trying to raise early awareness for early detection, and it's just such a great cause. And actually, a lot of the people involved and speakers and kind of, I'd like to say celebrities, they've been affected and have been treated and, have kind of overcome prostate cancer. And it's really, really cool to listen to their stories and see what they're all about, and they're really inspirational for me. They're amazing dudes. But it's cool because apparently this event brings people out on scooters and sidecars. You have a whole family. You have the mom and the kid and the dog sitting in the sidecar, and the dad driving a bike and stuff. Everything you can think of participates in this Ride for Dad. It is so cool. And my dad was actually considering taking, we have an old, I don't know what it is, a 74 Honda Spree. It's a step, we have a Honda Spree, and then we have a step-through Honda thing. I don't even know what it is. It's a Honda 50, scooter moped thing. And he wants to drive that in it, but I told him I don't think he's going to make it out of town. So he might, I think he's going to grab a Harley for the ride. But no, it's a cool event. Everyone and anything kind of comes down and hangs out, but it's expected to rain. I hope it doesn't rain, because I don't even have real proper riding gear. I got a little girly leather jacket and some nice TCX boots, and that's it. I don't even have proper pants. I use my moto gloves, and I'm really learning the tricks in the trade of this whole new street bike and street world of actually the stuff that you need, and I don't have it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, gosh, a lot of motocross companies don't even cross over. I know, like, Alpine Stars does, and they have some street riding gear, but most motocross companies, it seems like they're pretty much motocross. I wouldn't even know who the heck to tell you to hit up for some proper street bike gear. So.
I know. Well, it's really cool because I've been supported by Motovan Canada. That's, a distributor. You can get one of their catalogs and order through at any dealer kind of thing, but they're hooked up. They have a whole street catalog, so luckily they've been pretty awesome in getting me what I need for the street. They send me like 5 different kinds of boots, TCX boots, like cute little like girly ones with heels that I'd actually wear out, and like cool skater ones. I don't know, it's pretty cool. Like and I feel like I'm in a whole new world. Even though it's 2 wheels, it's a completely different, you need completely different gear. There's completely different people. It's pretty fun because I drive down the streets of Winnipeg and I see another biker and we kind of like meet up at the gas station, and I'm meeting like so many new friends. It's awesome. I know why people get a motorcycle now. It's like a whole other community. It's cool. I got the dirt community and now I got the street community.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because like I've been immersed in like the rally community for years now, right? And and especially in the past 2 years, they've really opened their arms to me, and I've become like an insider in the rally community. But it wasn't until I got this Subaru a couple of months back, and there's this whole subset, like the Subaru culture within, like the rally culture, right? And there's this whole Subaru culture, and there's part street and part rally in the Subaru culture. But like now that I have this car, like literally, it's one of those things like people. Like in Subarus, they come up, they give you like a thumbs up, like they pull up, they take pictures of my car in the parking lot. Like I literally get people that own Subarus, that, drive-thrus, when you pull in to get something and they're like, oh, rev it up, this is awesome. Like it's so weird. Like it's like, and I'm sure owning a street bike's the same way. Like I own a Subaru now, and it's like I'm just in. Like, okay, you're in, you own a Subaru, and you own a street bike. It's like, all right, you're immediately, all right, you're part of the family. And it's so weird, but it's like, it's like they welcome you with open arms. It's like, all right, you're one of us.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because, if you go down to California or Florida, there's so many people who have a bike. But here in Winnipeg, because we have more winter than we do summer, and insurance is absolutely ridiculous, there's not too many girls who drive street bikes. So being the new chick on the block or on the street, I like to say, I'm meeting so many people and friends, and they don't have a lot of girl riders, so they're just like, oh my God, another girl, yeah, like, let's go. And I'm really excited. Like I can't ride my bike at night, so I have like my graduated license, so I have like a beginner's, if you will, and I gotta wait like 6 months, I think, before I can even ride at night. It's crap and it sucks because everybody likes to get together and ride at nighttime, but
really,
I'm part of the daytime.
That's weird. Like, I mean, down here, you have a motorcycle license. You just have a motorcycle license. If they give it to you, you can do whatever the heck you want with your bike.
Well, us Canadians have ridiculous laws, and it's unbearable. But, I'm probably going to keep my beginners for a long time because then I think insurance goes through the roof once you have your full. But, no, I'm excited. It's really fun. And it's unfortunate that I have to, Yamaha's amazing, and they gave me this bike to ride for the year. And, if I want to trade it in or sell it or whatever, I can. But, if I give it back to them, I don't want to mod it up for them. I don't want to chop this, put this on there or whatever, because I really want to get an exhaust. I really want to get all these things my friends are telling me to boost up this little R3 and make it cool. The one thing I want is an exhaust so bad to make it sound, badass. But unfortunately, because I got to give it back, I can't. So I want to get a bike of my own that I can just completely mod up and make it look awesome. So, and now I'm all excited. I want to build a bike. I want to do this. I want to get one of these. I feel like I found a whole new hobby and activity. And it's funny, like we said, it's bikes again. I've been a part of motocross for 24 years, but the street community is completely different to me, and it's exciting. So
I was kind of I used to have a street bike, not anymore. I need to get another one, but at one point I actually had a brand new Ducati on order, and that was back in my single days, and I had a $25,000 Ducati on order. And then something came up, and I had to cancel the order. But there's still in the back of my mind, I'm like, I owe myself a Ducati at some point, and so at some point
you definitely do.
I want.
And I always told myself that I would. When I was younger, I always saw myself as driving a cafe racer, one of those old school kind of I love vintage bikes. I want something that is ugly and vintage and super eclectic and classic and just rad. I don't care about having like a Harley or something, very seamster. Like, I want the ugliest, gnarliest, coolest thing on the road, and I will have that one day.
What is it with the Buell brand? You get both because they're owned by Harley, so you can have a Buell, which is, you can say, oh, well, it's a Harley owned, that's kind of it's cafe racer, but it's owned by Harley, so that's always kind of the trade-off. You can have both. Best of both
I'd probably
worlds.
stick to Yamaha for now. Like I was telling you, you guys got to take a look at the Yamaha Bolt. I would love to trade in. Okay, I really like the Rocket, though. They're really fun. They're cool little bikes. They're zippy, But it'd be nice to trade it in for this Yamaha Bolt. They are a sexy-looking bike. Oh, my goodness. I could totally see myself driving one of those. They have, like, an all-matte black and, like, a shiny, like the women's Pro plate. It's like a cyan blue gas tank.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, I almost peed my pants. It was so beautiful looking. I want one of those. I want a little bit of everything now. It's going to be hard, man. I'm going to spend a lot of money. This is bad.
All right, we got to take a short commercial break here. When we come back, Jarrett Brooks on the line on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP 1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Kick off the summer at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slot machines, table games, poker, and bingo. Earn points as you play and redeem your points for discounts at our restaurants, for free slot play, for lodging, and more. Plus, members of the club can participate in our promotions for a chance to win cash and prizes. Book your hotel at Blue Water today. Sunday to Thursday room rates start at $94.95 now to the end of summer based on availability.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, my General Tire teammate and big winner on the weekend out at Lucas Oil Short Course there in Salt Lake City, Jarrett Brooks. How's everything going, Jarrett?
Pretty good. We're just we're coming home from Utah right now after an awesome weekend, but super pumped to get 4 wins in a row this year. It's been pretty tough. We kind of struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year with the setup, but my team's been working their butt off. We've been doing our homework, testing a lot, and I'm feeling really good in the truck this year and feeling really confident. So, I mean, we're just going to go for wins right now and just try to focus on this championship.
Yeah, I laugh. I'm sitting here chuckling because you said, yeah, we struggled at the beginning of the year. And I'm going, man, there's been 6 races and you've won 4 of them. And I think the 2 rounds at the beginning, you took a podium at one of the 2, right? So I don't know how much struggling you've done, but most people are like, man, I'd love to struggle like Jarrett.
Yeah, this Pro Life field is so close now that it's honestly just like the little things. You got the tires, it's down to converters, down to gears, and really down to how the thing turns. Because I mean, everyone's so close that if you can run inside lines to get around someone and outbrake them, I mean, it's that close where a little mistake will break your race. How close this field is. So, I mean, just the littlest things have just made me feel way more comfortable in the truck and gave me the confidence to just go faster and be consistent.
Yeah, well, in Pro Light, I mean, I've talked about it on the show before, but it's literally the most competitive class in short course. Not only is it the biggest, deepest field, but the driving talent alone is top notch. But you guys, I mean, where Pro 4, everything's wide open and you can pretty much do whatever the heck you want to your truck. I mean, Pro Light, there's some things you can do, but it's really, you guys have to work at it. I mean, there's not quite as much. It's more of a spec type class, and props to you guys. Obviously, you figured it out. The package, and you guys are pretty dialed at this point. You got to be happy.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped. It's been a long time. We've teamed up with Bilstein this year, and they've been helping me out big time, and especially shocks in the Pro Light class are a big thing. You got to get a thing to handle good because we're so limited on everything. We only have 14 inches of suspension in the rear and 12 in the front, so you really have to work with it, and you really have to use all of it, and sometimes you just got to bottom it out and just be rough on your body. But, it's working good, and I'm super comfortable in it right now.
Yeah, well, and I know we've had, some listeners and stuff like that, and they go, oh, short course, I mean, you use shocks, you use suspension in desert, short course, it doesn't matter as much. And I'm like, no, it probably matters more, especially, I mean, I look at last year, especially Pro Light, I mean, I think it was the Estero, the Mexico event there at Estero Beach, but they had that just gnarly whoop section, and there was some guys just balling the trucks up that didn't have the setup right, and you guys that had it figured out, were able to be competitive at that event.
Yeah, especially on the tracks where we can't clear this stuff, where we come up short. I mean, it kind of matters who can keep the truck on the ground the longest and keep the truck flying low and not so high. But especially at Estero, when you have those doubles where the Pro Lights can barely clear, you're cased in the rear, and you really have to have that suspension soak it up. So it's honestly pretty tough in the Pro Light class just because we're all so dead even that just, suspension could be a huge thing.
Yeah. Well, that being said, obviously 4 straight, you're 4 for 6 at this point with wins. I mean, your current points leader, where do you guys go from here? Because, everybody behind you now, you're the guy with a target on your back, and everybody's gunning. I mean, how do you continue to progress the truck and dial in your setup even further, to stay out front?
I'm just going to stay humble, and we're just going to keep testing. I think we can get this truck faster than it is right now, and my team are just working their butts off, just every little thing. We have Chad Matag, John Hoffman, Nick, Stretch, and Nacho. All my whole team is just working their whole butts off, and just we're doing our homework every week and just trying to find any speed we can.
Yeah. Well, and talking about finding, any speed you can, I know one part of your package has been pretty solid. You guys are running General Tire grabbers, and, us guys in the desert, we're running General Tire grabbers, and, and they're a little bit different than some of the stuff that, you can get off the shelf. They're similar, but, they're different. I mean, Pro Light, the tire you guys are running, it's a Grabber MT. It's literally the off-the-shelf tire that anybody can go into their local General Tire dealer and buy. I mean, how has that tire been for you guys? Obviously, it's hooking up well.
Oh, I'm for sure in love with the tire right now. I think I'm the only guy running Generals in the Pro Life field, and, I think it's a big advantage for me. We have Maui Motorsports, Big Mo, grooving our tires this year, and he's super knowledgeable with how to groove tires been doing it for years. So I think that's helped us out a lot, and we're just trying different stuff than we normally have, and it just gets me out of the hole good. For the race in Utah, it was super muddy at the first part of the race where trucks were spinning out, and my truck was pulling in the mud, and then when it got blue groove, it was still hooked up. So I can't complain with them at all.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk a little bit about Lucas, because obviously a couple of years ago, you won the Torque Pro Light Championship, and Torque's Pro Light field, where they've struggled in some of the divisions, to get entries. I mean, Pro Light has always been solid, both in Lucas and in Torque. You took a championship there. You moved to Lucas. Obviously, you took second last year in Lucas. I mean, how has the transition been, though? I mean, Lucas tracks and Torque tracks. I mean, from a driver standpoint, two totally different animals. I mean, it really is. I mean, how has that transition been for you as a driver? And obviously, some of the guys in Pro Light that have been running Lucas for years maybe have a little more knowledge and setup, dialed in for the Lucas tracks. I mean, obviously the transition's working good for you now, but I mean, how was that last year and making the transfer over?
I actually really liked racing Torque just because the tracks were just so much different and so wide open that I feel like that made me a driver, just because you have to keep it wide open in some spots that are just so sketchy to keep it wide open and over crest and right hand turns over jumps. And but it's kind of cool though. They go to big tracks, like 2 mile tracks, and then next thing you know, they're going to an oval track at Charlotte where it's super tight and stuff. So I feel like it was just it was two different types of animals. So when I came back to Lucas, I was good at the short tracks just because we always went to the short tracks, and then I just feel like it helped our setup. But coming back to Lucas was just so much different just because the field's so tight and you can't make any mistakes because the guy behind you is right behind you. Which in Torque, it's kind of like the top three guys have a chance of winning it and are always battling. But in Lucas, I feel like the top 8 guys could win it at any weekend. There's always some guy that pops off the time in qualifying that you're like, whoa, where'd he come from? But so that kind of makes it cool. You always got to be on your toes in Lucas.
Yeah. Well, that being said, we're going to see you running Torque races this year. We're going to see you back at, Labor Day weekend for the big one at Crandon at all?
We're thinking about it. We're not too sure yet. We just got that Pro 2, so I think Torque changed some rules for the Pro Light class, so we possibly could take the Pro Light or the Pro 2, but we're not too positive yet.
Yeah. Well, and that was going to be my next question. Obviously, you Torque champ, took second last year. You got a solid points lead at this point in Pro Light. I mean, looking forward, next year and the year after that, you just said you guys took possession of a Pro 2. I mean, we're going to see you make the transition because, I mean, obviously, you don't have that Lucas Pro Light Championship yet, but, you're winning races, obviously skill set, you could definitely transfer up to Pro 2.
Yeah, for sure. I'm for sure doing Pro 2 next year, but I really don't want to give the Pro Light up. So I want to race Pro Light 2 next year, but we'll see. It looks like it's pretty tough. I've seen RJ and Deegan and some other guys do it, and it looks like they struggled a little bit. So that's why I'm a little hesitant. But I've been driving the Pro 2 a little bit, and I feel like I feel really comfortable in it. And from driving a Pro 2 to a Pro Light, I feel it makes me better driving both laps just because they're close. But with the Pro 2, you have to drive it. It's so heavy and big that you have to throw the thing in there so hard, get it sideways early. And that's how I've been driving my Pro Light lately. And I felt so good at it doing that.
Yeah, and me not have driven short course, just a desert guy, but it sounds like I know Pro 2 and especially Pro 4, they say to really get those trucks work, you have to be really uber aggressive with them and just almost violent driving style, and that's when the trucks really start to go to work.
Yeah, exactly. When I first hopped in it, I was pretty impressed with how good they hook up. I had the new Generals on there, but because they have 900 horsepower compared to my 400 horsepower Pro Light, but the thing just hooks up so good, and the amount of body roll, and it's just 3-wheeling the whole time, just digging traction the whole time. It feels so cool going into something like that compared to your stiff Pro Light, rough on the back, and not that much power. You have to keep the RPMs up and just kind of keep your momentum up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you jump in there, you pull the first lap, and just an ear-to-ear grin under your helmet, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, that being said, obviously, Pro Light, that's your bread and butter this year. You're going for that championship. I mean, you've got the Pro Tour. We're going to see you possibly this year do a little double duty, and spend a little time in the Pro 2 at some events?
Possibly. We're still trying to work on the Pro 2. We pretty much have everything good. I haven't put too much laps in yet, so that's kind of the main goal for this year is just to start throwing laps in it, getting setups down, and try to come in next year swinging. But we might come into this year and just get our feet wet, test out the class at the end of the year. So we'll see how good I'm feeling in it.
Yeah. Well, and I got to ask, obviously, you're killing it in the off-road market now. You're a young guy, I mean, and you always hear things tossed around with some of the other young drivers. I mean, there's so many opportunities now as a driver coming up like you, and you hear guys trying to make the transition to, say, NASCAR or Red Bull Global Rallycross. I mean, you pretty happy with off-road and making a career out of that, or is there anything else, you would like to eventually to be able to try out?
Yeah, I tried out some late models a couple of years ago, and that was actually a super good time. But I feel like it's so hard to do double duty. I for sure obviously want to stick with off-road, but it'd be awesome to go race ARCA or some other asphalt events. But it's just so hard. I feel like I would have to almost drop off-road and just stop doing off-road and just go completely start over at something else, which would be pretty tough. So. For sure, I want to go do something like that, but I just want to have the sponsors follow.
Yeah, see, that's what we got to say. I know our friends at General Tire are tuned in, and we got to tell them, hey, look, Jarrett Brooks, he's winning in the desert for you. You guys are now the ARCA tire supplier. You need to throw the boy a bone, let him go and run an ARCA event here or there this year, right?
Exactly, that'd be awesome. I've always wanted to try something like that, and something that big would be just huge for me.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think, it'd definitely be kind of cool to see, you and your fan following head over there and try it out. So, fingers crossed for you. Hopefully you can put it together.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, but it'll be tough. So
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, it can always happen.
Yeah. Well, wrapping things up, obviously, next up on the schedule is the event down there in Mexico. Any changes you got to make to the truck for that, or just continue to do what you guys are doing?
Going to Mexico is pretty aggressive. It's a big sand track, and it's nothing like anything else. So we can't really set our truck up or go test anywhere just because it's nothing is like Estero. It gets so rutted up down the front straightaway. It's like a whoop section all the way down the front straightaway. So, I mean, we're just going to try to go in there swinging and just hope for the best.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to seeing it. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank Rigid Industries, Bill Stein, General Tire, my whole family, my crew. We've been working our butts off this year, and it feels good to have it pay off, but we just got to keep charging.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jarrett, and good luck down there in Estero. We'll definitely catch up with you later this season, and, hopefully you can keep putting those General Tires on the podium.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jarrett, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
Hurry, honey! It's finally June 25th! Trunkload of cash
Cash Day. I don't want to miss our chance to win that $40,000 guaranteed cash prize. One person wins $40,000. Can you believe that?
I'm right behind you. On the same day, after the trunk load of cash, it's Cage Rage 11 on the river in the Blue Water Resort and Casino showroom, with doors opening at 6 p.m. and tickets starting at just $15.
Kick off the summer at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slot machines, table games, poker, and bingo. Earn points as you play and redeem your points for discounts at our restaurants, for free slot play, for lodging, and more. Plus, members of the club can participate in our promotions for a chance to win cash and prizes. Book your hotel at Blue Water today. Sunday to Thursday room rates start at $94.95 now to the end of summer based on availability.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, and man, it's been a lot of fun so far. A lot packed into this hour so far with Marco Andretti and Jarrett Brooks. A little bit of Jim Beaver and Amy Hood sprinkled in. But right now we are going to jump into some Lucas Oil off-road results brought to you by General Tire and the Grabber line of tires. And this past weekend, things going off there in Utah. Obviously, Pro Light Jarrett Brooks with the sweep. That's 4 straight for Jarrett Brooks in Pro Light. Looking at Pro Buggy, it was Kevin McCullough, Garrett George, and Darren Hardesty taking the podiums in round 5, and then moving over to rounds number 6. It was Mike Valentine, Darren Hardesty with yet another podium, and Garrett George as well on the podium for round number 6. Then looking at Pro 2. Round number 5 up there in Utah, it was Rob McCachran, the legend. It was Jeremy McGrath, and then Patrick Clark rounding out your podium. And then round number 6 in the Pro 2 was Jeremy McGrath with the big win. Bryce Menzies and Carl Renezetter. Man, it's about time we get to Showtime on the air. Taking a victory there. Good to see Jeremy back. We had Bryce Menzies, Rob Mack, and Doug Fortin 1, 2, 3 in rounds number 5. And then round number 6, it was Kyle LeDuc, Carl Renezetter, and Rob McCachran. And I got to tell you, man, it's good to see Kyle LeDuc back there on top. He's had a little bit of struggles this year, which is weird to say for Kyle LeDuc. But, shaking things up there in Utah. I mean, aside from Pro Light and the dominance that we've seen from Jarrett Brooks, things were definitely a little bit of a shakeup up there, which is always good. You like to see that, man. It gets boring when it's the same guy week after week after week. That being said, I got to be pulling for my boy Jarrett Brooks and General Tire teammate that he can keep that streak alive. But we are going to take a short commercial break. We come back, we're going to be talking a little Mint 400 TV and some info on Destry Abbott and more. We got Joe Duncan and Kristen Kenney all coming up later on in the show here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Lee Valley, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And, as you know, we made the announcement last episode on Destry Abbott, kind of broke the news while we were on air. It was coming out on social media that he's suffering from leukemia out of nowhere. And lots of stuff going on. And, I reached out to the family and, and trying to help get the word out on some of the stuff they're doing, to help raise funds to cover these the treatments. Very, very expensive. And, definitely we're going to do whatever we can to help the family out. But they did make an announcement Saturday, June 4th, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. They're having a family fun day, the Abbotts and the DA8 Riding School at Canyon Motocross there in Phoenix, 7 a.m. to 12 at Canyon Motocross. $25 a rider, 10 per spectator, 12 and under are free. And basically they're going to have a silent auction, raffle items. Obviously, you're going to be able to ride your motorcycles. They're going to have all kinds of different challenges, games, bounce house for the kid. All the tracks are going to be open. Food starts at 10 a.m. They're going to have an Endurocross demo. They're going to have pointers with Taylor Robert, good friend of the show, and Max Gersten. They're going to raffle off Destry Abbott's personal KX500 that he just got done. Sounds like a good deal. If you're in the Southwest, specifically the Phoenix area, Saturday, June 4th out at Canyon Motocross, you definitely want to get in on that. You can find out all the information at DA8 on Instagram, or Kelsey Faye Abbott. I'm sure Cooper Abbott's sharing it as well, or Destry's account. But definitely want to get dialed in on that and support the family. And then also the Mint 400. We've got the TV broadcast information, the NBC Sports broadcast, obviously their signature series, and there's the NBC Sports broadcast. So you get double the Mint 400, but this one, the one on NBC Sports, is kind of the documentary style that everybody likes. And a lot of the endemic off-road community likes. And that is going to be happening here on May 29th. It's going to be May 29th at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 Eastern on NBC Sports Network, May 29th. So you definitely want to get dialed in on that this Sunday and tune in. Definitely going to be a good show. Martelli's and the boys at Mad Media always kill it. And, get to see it looks like they're going to, feature just all the classes. Not only do you get trophy trucks or trick trucks, but you also get Polaris RZRs and the UTV racing. So definitely looking forward to that. So support Destry Abbott if you can. Definitely tune into the Mint 400 this weekend. And we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, Amy Hood, Joe Duncan, and we're going to be talking some Terracross here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and joined on the line by my good friend Joe Duncan from Terracross. Yet another week and another Terracross segment here. And what do you got for Amy and I this week, Joe? You got any good news for us? Anything to get us amped up for San Diego here in a few weeks?
Well, we're just getting packed up here, and we're heading down to the Indy 500, leaving tomorrow. Jeremy and I are going down there, and we actually got some calls to go down for a couple meetings down there, which will be pretty exciting, and then be able to see the Indy 500 and a couple of potential racers that want to come and race Terracross with us, which will be pretty cool. And then drive back. What's that, Amy?
I just said, no way, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool, the call that Jeremy got. And a friend of ours, Ted set us up with some meetings with some of the teams and drivers that had been talking about it. And with our season being, starting in September and going through the end of October there, it's a nice little fit with their program. And some of the guys are excited to fly in, do a little off-road, and then fly out. So pretty cool, some of the stuff we got going on there. And then I drive back to Minnesota and jump on a plane to Austin, Texas for the ESPN X Games. And I get to go down there and hang out with all the people that I've worked with for almost, 19 years now down there, and check out the races. Unfortunately, we don't have any four-wheel races there this year, but definitely working on stuff in the future, and this next year, the 2017 and 2018, hopefully the X Games is moving to another location, and hopefully we'll be back part of it.
Yeah. Well, I've never been to an X Games in person, and I mean, geez, I've been following it for over 20 years. Starting as a kid up until now. But I made a promise to myself I would never go to an X Games unless I'm either one, an athlete, or two, I'm an on-air personality, either announcing or on TV. So there you go. I haven't been to an X Games yet. Hopefully, at some point, I get there, but I've got stipulations. So there you go, Joe.
Well, Jimmy. Well, Jimmy, Terracross is here to make your dreams come true.
All right. Well, I am sure hoping, buddy. I made a promise to myself I would never go. It's got to be under one of those two circumstances. So hopefully one of these days it all gets pulled together at some point. But when most of the four-wheel stuff went away, it kind of got me scared. I'm like, I don't know if we're ever going to make it as that. You know, I had an opportunity to do a stadium super truck a couple years ago, but I just couldn't find the funding to make it happen for X Games. So. But yeah, no, stoked for you. It's I know you've been with X Games for a long, long time, especially Winter X Games. So sure, it's like old home week when you go there, right?
Exactly. This will be my 20th year at when we get out to Aspen this year. This will be a 20-year Winter X Games with all the snowmobile stuff. I think 15 or 16 years with Summer X Games, but 20 years with Winter X Games this coming winter.
Yeah. How many years has Winter X actually happened? Did they? I was going to say
This will be 21 years. The first year at Big Bear, there was no snowmobile competition.
Okay.
And then the next 2 years at Crested Butte is when we kicked off snowcross at the X Games, and we've been banging it out for we'll be coming on 20 years here now.
Nice. So I'm excited, especially with the rumors of the Terracross schedule coming up, and I know San Diego, we're right at about a month away from that demo there in San Diego to kind of kick things off this year.
Yeah, actually we had a nice call on that this past week here, and that's all getting put together, and we're going to be doing some invites for that coming up shortly. But basically we're gonna invite people in the area that either racers or non-racers that are able to come out and participate on that. I think it's June 24th and 25th. It's a Friday, Saturday event, and we're going to have a somewhat of a team down Terracross course there. We all know what can happen on one of our big, gnarly Terracross courses. Don't we, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's funny. That's seriously. I mean, I don't know how many people have flipped in Terracross last year, but I guarantee you it's a couple dozen at this point. That had them upside down or on its side or something like that. But
way more than that.
Yeah. But it's funny because
you will always be the iconic one, Jimmy.
No,
you did it twice in a row in the exact same section.
I feel bad though, Joe, because I cost you Tanner Faust. I had Tanner on air last week, and he brings it up, right? I don't even bring it up, and he's like, dude, that was the gnarliest crash, and and I'm like, yeah, dude, you were there checking it out. I said, I crashed, and I said, I'm okay, but I said, somebody else hurt their back, so I said, I call you, Tanner. And I said, you pick up the phone and you tell me, you're like, yeah, I know, because there was a spot for him to drive. I can't remember. I think it was Scott's car. And I said, Tanner, dude, I said, there's a car for you. And I said, it's not mine. I said, it's somebody else's. They hurt their back. I said, you just bring your helmet, your Hans device. I said, come in and you can race. Tanner's like, yeah, I don't know that I want to. And I'm like, I feel bad. I cost you Tanner Faust, Joe. And he was laughing about it. He's like, dude, watching you crash kind of shook me up.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of that stuff fixed, and with our new safety rules for this year, hopefully a lot of that or all of that goes away. And Tanner and I were texting last week, and there's the announcement coming out. Hopefully we may see Tanner pop into an event if he has the time in his schedule, as well as obviously some other drivers that we're talking to. But yeah, things are coming right along, and excited to get some of these announcements done. I mean, we got contracts that are all being either just getting signed or at the attorneys and all of that stuff. I think it's going to be a whirlwind once we start announcing that it'll be nonstop. But I think a couple of these meetings down here at Indy, we have 2 meetings down at X Games, and I think we'll have some great things to announce in the next couple of weeks that'll be able to be officially released. But us, we don't like to say something's done until it's actually done, and we don't like to make a bunch of rumors until we know that they're true. So.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
What's funny is I travel, all over the country, with Rally and other things, and with Razor, and then And then obviously on the show, Amy and I get, a string of action sports athletes and drivers and stuff like that. And it's got to the point where, a series is getting big when you just mention the name Terracross and everybody knows what you're talking about. 2 years ago, I'd mentioned Terracross. People are like, what? Now you mention Terracross and everybody's like, oh, yeah, man, Razors, I want to do that. So it's, whatever you and Jeremy are doing, you're doing a good job, my friend, because, it seems like everybody is very aware of Terracross at this point.
Well, it goes. Look at what you and Amy do for us. Obviously, our CBS Sports Network deal and our great television production company and what they put out. Polaris Razors and the Polaris exposure. Mystic Lubricants, Walker Evans, Fox, UTV Underground, ATVRiders.com. I mean, it's all you guys that are getting it out there, and it's us just kind of putting all of these pieces of the puzzle together and have everybody working as a team to grow it. And then, to be able to make it fun and exciting and easy and affordable, it just goes back to that whole business model we have, and it makes it people want to talk about it and people want to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got to take a short commercial break here, Joe, and I appreciate you taking the time. We'll definitely do it again next week. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think of the Indy 500 personally. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we will be back after this.
We'll talk next week.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, buddy. We'll be back after this short commercial break. Amy and I will be talking pro motocross up next here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Hurry, honey! It's finally June 25th, trunk load of cash day. I don't want to miss our chance to win that $40,000 guaranteed cash prize. One person wins $40,000. Can you believe that?
I'm right behind you. On the same day, after the trunk load of cash, it's Cage Rage 11 on the river in the Blue Water Resort and Casino showroom, with doors opening at 6 p.m. and tickets starting at just $15.
Kick off the summer at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slot machines, table games, poker, and bingo. Earn points as you play and redeem your points for discounts at our restaurants, for free slot play, for lodging, and more. Plus, members of the club can participate in our promotions for a chance to win cash and prizes. Book your hotel at Blue Water today. Sunday to Thursday room rates start at $94.95 now to the end of summer based on availability.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and going to talk a little pro motocross. Before we get to that, I just reminded myself of listening to those commercials, Amy, the Casey Highlights commercial. You got your new blue bike, and I know Casey Highlights is sending me out these little hockey puck, they call them Cyclone accent lighting for my Subaru. They're blue, so it glows underneath. I'm supposed to order you like a couple of those. They're like little hockey pucks that you mount under your bike so it'll glow blue underneath.
Oh, my goodness, that would be unreal. You were telling me about that in Vegas, and that would look super sexy. Definitely hook it up. I would love to see how that looks. I think I might be the only biker on the road here in Winnipeg who has those. So I haven't seen many of those here in Winnipeg at all. Yeah, I got to get on that. I know we talked about it. I was just listening to that commercial. I'm like, oh, crap, you got your bike now. We need to get you set up with some blue accent lighting. Yeah, that'd be rad. I think that'd be rad. For sure. I do have to say something, and I'm only about 100,000 behind you, but we talked a lot of social media last week. I just hit 30,000 followers on Instagram yesterday, so I'm kind of pumped on that. Only 100,000 behind you, but I'm catching you, right? Oh my goodness.
So yeah,
it's social media.
Yeah, I hate social media, to be honest with you.
You're killing me on Facebook, though, I have to say.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a long time. But, yeah, let's talk some pro motocross, because you and I can get started on social media and stuff hits the fan in a hurry. But let's talk some pro motocross here, because things finally kicking off in Hangtown. I know you kind of phoned it in over Supercross. You're an outdoors girl, man. It's all about outdoors for you. Hangtown, yeah. Out of the box. Kenny Roczen coming out with a vengeance.
Oh, definitely. And, we always talk about how different Supercross is to outdoors, and we can see a completely different lineup on the box weekend to weekend compared to outdoors and Supercross. And it's almost like we have these secret hidden riders who come out of the woodworks and just, dominate outdoors compared to Supercross. Supercross is very... ballsy, if you will. I've talked to a lot of riders and a lot of people who have a championship, and they still say that Supercross is super scary, hitting a 75-foot triple out of a corner. It's a very different riding skill compared to outdoors. Outdoors is extremely physically demanding. We've got long motos. It's about perseverance, and it's 22 races. You really got to, come into the gate strong. You need to have a game plan. You have to be consistent week in to week out to really, put it all together. It's a long series. You got to stay healthy. You got to ride smooth, and you really got to eliminate mistakes. So, what a weekend! Though, yes, obviously, I had no doubts about Ken Roczen. I knew he was going to put it together. I think he was a little disappointed, with the Supercross, how successful he was kind of near the end. It was too bad that he had, a little bit of a rough start, and he was playing catch-up all season. So now, he's comfortable, 1-1, actually pulled on Dungey a little bit too. I think that we're seeing the Ken Roczen, how he was over in Germany, just dominating outdoors year in and year out. So I think we see that Ken Roczen once again. But I am super excited about the 250s. It was kind of one of those things that, it was anybody's game. There were so many riders who I had money on. I thought we were going to do good, maybe didn't do so good, but I really had no idea who was going to win. We have Jeremy Martin coming off a two-time outdoor championship. Cooper Webb was out for a vengeance. We had a rider like Austin Forkner coming off amateur scene. There was just so many people. Adam Cincerello coming back from an injury. I had no idea that Joey Savacci would be so far ahead of the game, coming out with the fastest qualifier and then going 1-1. First moto, he whole shot checked out. There was nobody touched him. Second moto, he he passed Nelson just a couple laps, and he was gone. He was just flawless. And it was cool because last year we seen Joey really pick it up towards the end of the season, being able to pressure Jeremy Martin. But I think that, this is Joey's national. For sure, this is his championship. Just listening to him, how confident he is and how, he has a plan. He has a game plan. He wanted to be on the box this weekend. And, winning everything is just, he's ahead of the game now. He doesn't have to play catch-up like he did last year as well. And he's ready. I think it's going to be very interesting. Really, disappointing finishes, though, for Jeremy Martin going 3-9. Also, definitely Adam Cincerello going 12-11. That is not the points that I thought he was going to get. I thought we were going to see Adam on the box. But kind of shocking for a lot of people out there. RJ, Justin Hill going 21. It's so different than we're going to see in Supercross. We're going to see different people every weekend. But, it makes it really interesting. And like I said, 22 races long. Anything can happen. You can't judge, an outdoor championship by Hangtown. You never know. People are, they got goosebumps. They're a little rusty and nervous. So I think, you can really start to make some guesstimates around the 5th round. Hangtown, you never know.
Yeah, well, and do you think with somebody like Adam Cianciarulo, you think, he's been off the bike for a while, and gosh, the kid, we know he's talented. But
yeah.
Do you think he's easing his way back into things? Do you think he's a little gun shy at this point? I don't know. Because I'm an Adam fan. I want to see the kid succeed, but do you feel like he's easing his way back in? There's got to be some jitters at this point because he's had such a string of bad luck,
Well, okay. I love Adam. I think he's a great kid, great person. I'd really like to get him on the show here, but I definitely spit some hot, fiery truth, and I'm going to tell things how it is and how I see it because, your perception can really tell a lot, I guess you'd like to say. And just my perception through social media is that maybe Adam is not as focused as some of these other guys, who train day in and day out. And, some of them stay off social media, and some of them, all they post is about training and riding, and you can really see their dedication. Adam, I know he likes to go out and do a little bit of this and have some fun, which, by all means, I am all about having a good time and having fun and, enjoying your career. But in pro motocross, you have the guys who eat, sleep, and breathe and don't take an hour off their training program to be not just physically but mentally prepared for this grueling outdoor series. And then you have Adam, who may not be putting in 100% of the effort that he might be able to. That's just how I see it. It might be completely different, but I don't know. I got injured about a month ago, and my first 2 races, I don't even know who I was out there. And it was not because I wasn't conditioned or, couldn't ride the track. I was nervous of crashing and hurting myself. And I've crashed a million times. I've broken a few things in my lifetime, but this crash really got to me because it's it was really bad for one, and two, I was out for about 2 weeks, and I was constantly thinking when I was riding, I don't want to get hurt, I don't want to charge here because I'm, I don't want to crash, I don't want to make this mistake, and that always plays a little part in your mind, always. And Adam has been plagued year after year, series after series, whether it's outdoor or Supercross, with injuries. And maybe that's starting to, negatively affect his mental game. I'm not too sure. And it sucks, though, because he is so talented and he has so much potential. And just who he is as a person, he's such a great ambassador of the sport. I would hate to see him lose that, mental toughness that you really need for this sport. So I don't really know, but I do think that your dedication is a huge part of outdoors. Not so much Supercross. It's a little, you fly in, fly out, have some fun, race a 15-lap main where you got 2 30-minute motos and outdoors. You might need a little different, program than you do for Supercross.
Yeah, well, and I just listened to an interview with Ricky Carmichael on Misha Tate's podcast. I'm a big Misha Tate fan, and she does some cool stuff. She's actually good personal friends with Ricky, and her and her boyfriend are. But anyways, she had Ricky on there, and he was talking about guys like Dungey and guys that ride at an elite level, and he says, look, and he says, in my career, he's like, I did not have fun. He's like, I went to Supercross. He's like, the training and everything. He's like, being a professional motocross and Supercross rider, if you want to be the guy and carry the number one plate, he's like, it's not a fun job. He's like, granted, when I won, he's like, I didn't even have fun because he's like, I rode at a level where I was expected to win. He's like, so when I won, it was like, okay, I did my job. He's like, if you're a number 5 or a number 10 guy and you sneak in and get a victory, he's like, you see him shooting champagne everywhere and celebrating. He's like, because he's like, it was a surprise win. He's like, me, no win was ever a surprise. I was supposed to do that. He's like, these guys that say this is a fun job, he's like, they're never going to be a number 1 guy. He's like, you look at Ryan Dungey, he's like, I can look Ryan in the eyes. I can tell you he's not having fun. He's like, the stuff you have to go through, he's like, the diet, the training, the exercise. He's like, the guys that quit when they're tired training, he's like, they're never going to be the number 1 guys. He's like, it's the guy that pushes through and continues to push. He's like, and when they're tired and ready to quit, he's like, they go and put in another hour or 2 at the track. He's like, those are the number 1 guys. And hearing that from Ricky, I was like, man, it was a great interview. I'd love to get him on the show. I need to reach out to his people because I have their contact, but it was kind of an eye-opener for me. Like, I was like, wow, this is some good stuff.
And I completely agree that, if you want to be a champion, there's so much sacrifice and dedication that people have no idea sometimes what goes on behind the scenes to be a professional athlete. And that's a professional athlete. That's in any industry. But I would like to compare it to everyday life. We do a job, so, something that we may not like, or it's not exactly what we plan to do with our lives, but we do a job so that we can make money, so we can live the life that we want. Whether you choose to be an accountant or, in fashion sales or whatever, or if you choose to be an athlete. Each job has a requirement. And if you want to be the best at your job, you have to do the best at those requirements. And it's not that being a professional athlete is the hardest thing ever. We hate our job. It's the worst thing ever. Our job requirement is for us to train, to be rigorous with our diet and our schedule and our lifestyle to be able to perform, to live the life that we want to live. So again, we take on these, challenges and the discipline. We take them on because that's what we ultimately want to do. And I don't like it. It's kind of deceiving when people say, oh, it's so hard and so gnarly. Well, you know what? Motocross is made up of certain kind of people because those are the people who can handle that type of discipline and that strain and on your body and all, everything that we go through as a motocross athlete. I welcome that type of work ethic into my life because that's the person I am. Just like the same as, somebody who may work nights and, have to sleep all day and work night. Every job has a different type of discipline, and it's just about who you are as a person and whether you can handle it or not. But that's why I think motocross athletes are some of the most interesting people to ever meet, because the discipline it requires to perform at this elite level really shows what kind of person they are and, how they accept challenge and defeat and, how they win and lose. It's really, really cool because it actually kind of plays a big role on who they are as a person in their everyday life. Because if you can, hit the ground as hard as freaking possible, going 5th gear tap down a straightaway, crash your face off, and have that perseverance to be able to pick yourself back up and just finish the race, I want to be your friend. I want to hang out with you because you seem like to be a badass and that you are kind of willing to do whatever it takes. And that's what makes motocross athletes so cool. And that's my personal take on it. But,
all right.
I like training and I like having the rigorous diet because it's cool because you are completely in control of your own success. Your dedication is ultimately reflected in your, how well you are able to perform. And if you're not performing the way you want to, you got to go back to the drawing board and, dig deep and do it yourself. you got no one else to rely on. Yes, you got your teams and your mechanics, but your performance on the track is ultimately up to you.
All right. Well, I think with that, that's a good segue to our next commercial break. We come back. Kristen Kenney is on the line in our new Red Bull GRC Curtain Call segment here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at MTX.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to kick off a new segment on the show, something I'm very excited about. We're calling it GRC Curtain Call. We're going to recap all the GRC events after each and every race. Once in a while, we're going to have a driver on air. Once in a while, we're going to have a personality within the series on air. And this week, I'd like to welcome my good friend Kristen Kenney to the line in our inaugural GRC Curtain Call segment. How's everything going, Kristen?
Oh, well, everything is great, Jim. Thanks. I'm so excited that Curtain Call is happening.
Yeah,
this
you and me both. I know, we've been working on it for quite some time, but hey, we're here, we're doing it, and round 1 is in the books, or round 1 and 2 are in the books, and I got to tell you, man, those Volkswagens, they're going to be tough this year.
They pretty much came out of the gates unstoppable. I don't know who is going to be able to catch up to them, because Tanner Faust he led all the entire time. And the fact that round 2, they had an issue with the car, and they were able to turn it around in time for the final without any issues in that 10-lap final. I really just think they're unstoppable. I don't know who's going to challenge them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just Tanner, Scott, it's just crazy. And those cars, I mean, we go back to Barbados a couple of years ago, and I mean, from the debut, and it wasn't even the Beetle at that point, it was the Polos, but from Volkswagen's debut, I mean, literally, they have put a stamp on the series and, and are definitely one of the elite teams to beat.
Right. At mid-season last year was all about the rise of the Beetle, and then sweeping 2 doubleheaders. I mean, that's so impressive last year with, like you said, Barbados and then Los Angeles. And, this opening round 1 and 2 to see a Volkswagen sweep. I mean, wow, they have a lot to be proud of. And, I do think it's interesting to see with Chip Ganassi Racing and the Fords over there. They seem to be a lot better this year, and with full time with Brian Deegan, I know he is really focused on winning. And this year, that's all that's on his mind. So I think they could give him a run for their money if any car can in this season. We still have Honda. I mean, Honda's competitive, but they still have a lot of kinks to work out. And when it's your first year with a new manufacturer, that's going to take probably a year of development. So I really think the Fords of Chip Ganassi could be the ones that are closer on the Beatles' tails, if not passing them in some of these rounds.
Yeah, well, and I know Brian, and I've known him for a long time, and, and it gets under his skin when he's not winning. And, you go back a couple of years, and he was one of the top guys in GRC. I mean, you had Brian Deegan, Tanner Faust, Ken Block, and that was 2-3 years ago. And Brian, I mean, I was at Vegas when I still say it was the greatest pass in GRC history. He goes from the last row of the grid, like literally the last starting spot, and slingshots past like 8 cars and ends up in second place after the first corner after a crazy pass on the outside in the dirt. I mean, it was wild, but I mean, Deegan was that guy. I mean, he was, he was one of the guys that you looked at, who's going to win this week? It's Deegan. In the past couple of years, for one reason or another, and part-time schedule, he hasn't been that guy, and I know it's got to be under his skin, and for him to be like, no, I'm going back to GRC full-time this year, I want to make a run at the championship. I mean, that's saying something. I mean, I think in the power rankings, I said the general is back, and when I said that, I meant it. I mean, he is, he's ready. He's ready to win races.
Yeah, the general is definitely back. I mean, that's his eye is on the prize, and that's it, and nothing's going to slow him down. I mean, it was pretty amazing in round 1 for him to get on the podium after starting from the back of the grid, and he went to the LCQ in both rounds and managed to get out. And I talked to him before the final after the LCQ, and I said, is this even a track that you can come from behind and get on the podium? He said, absolutely not, but I'm going to go for it. And he went for it, and he got on the podium in round 1. So, I mean, congrats to him for that. I know that's not what he wanted after the weekend. He still was bummed out. He's like, I want to be number 1. I mean, he's not happy unless he's number 1. So, but still, that shows a lot that he even made it to the podium. But I think we're going to see a lot from him as the races continue. It's just I don't know who can beat the Beatles on those straightaways. I mean, that straightaway, 130 miles per hour. Is there any other car right now in the series that can get that speed on those straightaways? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's the Beatles, like you said. It's. I mean, you hate to say this early on, it's their season to lose, but the way things are looking, and after what we know from last year, I mean, they are just everybody else is going to have to raise their game, or the Beatles are going to run away with it, I think.
Right. Well, the only thing I can say is you never know what happens in this series with full-on contact, with mechanicals, and tracks are constantly changing. So this track really fit the Beatles because of the speed that they could get in sixth gear on that straightaway. It was really suitable for the Beatles. But if you get maybe a smaller track, more contact, you never know. So not every track is going to have a straightaway like that where they can really pick up steam. Not every track is going to be as long as that. So, it's always changing. So we won't know. That's what I love about this series, because you think they have it, just like Ken Block last year. It seemed like that it was his season to lose. And, midway through the season, another manufacturer came in and just took it away. So we really never know.
Yeah, and
that's what I love about the series.
Yeah, I do have to say, mentioning the track, that track in Phoenix was awesome. I mean, GRC, the great thing about GRC, it's a mix of all different kinds of tracks. This one, for some reason, when I was out there and took a look, I go, to me, this is a good rallycross track. I mean, there was some tight corners. The Joker was insanely tight. I mean, the guys, the Joker was slower than the actual racing line. But, to me, it was just an awesome track. It was a good mix. You had the really good dirt corners. The tabletop was insane. Tanner was jumping it like no one's business. I mean, it was just nuts. But I just thought, that was a great way to kick off 2016.
It was an amazing track. Not one driver complained about the track. And that's saying something.
That's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot. It was amazing. It was fast. It was long. The jump was huge and massive. Just seeing, especially the Beetles, like Tanner, launching, literally airborne over the jump. And we had side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel action at one point over the jump. And that was just so fun to watch. And I think for really the first time in a long time, this was a track that offered everything. Yeah. It was really unique, too, because visually it looked as if the Joker was going to be a shortcut. But in reality, it was longer. Yeah. It was because it was so technical. So that was interesting, too. So it really had so much drama. We couldn't have asked for a better way to start it. I cannot wait for Dallas. I mean, we're going from an amazing track in Phoenix to a 16-turn Dallas layout. I mean, that's going to be incredible, too.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. I'm excited for that event. We got to talk real quick. You mentioned it earlier, but we haven't mentioned them yet. The debut of Honda. We've heard rumors I know for 2 years I've heard these rumors of Honda coming in. It gets to be a point where you hear the rumor long enough, you just go, there's no truth to it, right? Well, lo and behold, our buddy Andreas Eriksson, the quote wizard of rallycross, brings Honda into the fold, and I got to tell you, they were pretty competitive for their first event and taking a podium. I know I saw from the corporate Honda social media accounts, they were amped on it.
Oh, yeah. Andreas is, he is a wizard of rallycross. Exactly that. And he knows what he's doing. I mean, this is a guy who's built the lights cars. He's been around rallycross for years. He knows how to take a team and develop a team into a winning team. He did it with Ford. He's going to do it with Honda. I was talking with him actually before round 2, after everything, the mechanical issues. And I mean, we saw Eriksson on fire, which is not what you want when you're in round 1, right? And debuting your new manufacturer. But it happens. It's hot. You're really pushing the cars on a long track that's very fast. But I was talking with him after that, and he was saying, hey, we just need some time. We need some time. The car is heavier. It's 40 kilograms heavier than any other car out here. And that's because he's building it with heavier parts right now, and he's eventually going to get lighter parts for the car, so it'll lighten up, so it'll be even faster. But right now, it's just they're still in development. So to get on the podium after what happened in round 1 with Eriksson is remarkable. It's unbelievable. So I got to give him credit. Andreas knows exactly how to build a championship team. He's going to do it with Honda. We just may have to wait, like maybe mid-season. Who knows? Maybe at Dallas we could see that podium turn into a first place. Yeah. So we don't know, and we haven't seen a lot. Yoni Weeman didn't get out in front as much as we had hoped. He was great in the heat, just unfortunate and bad luck in the final. So, but good podium win for Eriksson.
Yeah, well, and I have to say, I was walking around and talking with somebody from that's aligned with a different manufacturer. That's all I'll say. They're aligned with a different manufacturer, and one of the Hondas drives by, and they've got their anodized, red wheels, and and he looks at the car and he goes, those really are good-looking rallycross cars, and I just laughed because here's this guy that's literally wearing the hat for another manufacturer, and he's like, I'm like, that's saying something. They were good-looking cars.
That is actually crazy. I wonder who that was. Yeah, they look good, and they look big, and they are bigger. But soon enough, they'll drop that weight and be faster than they were this weekend. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah. So, give us a preview heading into Dallas. We're I guess only about a week and a half out. It's weird to say that, but man, we're in the grind of things now. GRC firing on all 8, but or I guess in GRC's case all 4. But let's talk a little bit about Dallas. I mean, give us a preview there. I know you talked a little bit about the track. Some of the fans may have not seen the layout yet. What do we have in store for us in Dallas?
Well, Dallas is going to be totally different. It's not a doubleheader weekend, so risk versus reward isn't going to factor in as much. So I think the drivers are going to be able to go all out for Dallas. They could, in a doubleheader you can go all out, but you also have to be conservative because you have to conserve your car through 2 rounds. So I think it's going to be a total different game mentally going into this because it's just one race day. So that's the biggest thing. And then you look at a 16-turn course. It still looks like a long track, but not as long as Phoenix. So it's going to be certainly one of the more technical layouts. It looks like there's a lot of 90-degree. There's a couple hairpins, it looks like, on this track. So I think it's going to be wild. And I don't know how wide it's going to be, if it's 2 wide, 3 wide going over the jump. But I feel like we may see a little more carnage, which I know the drivers are not too excited about, or the teams, because carnage means more work and more money in the pit. But, that's what Red Bull GRC is all about. So I think they're going to go even more all out. And Brian Deegan is going to be a monster out there, a man on a mission. He literally is going to be a man on a mission. So I'm excited to see him in particular.
Yeah, for sure. And we got to mention, I know one of the GRC manufacturers, Subaru, running an abbreviated schedule this year, doing a lot of development work on this new car. But we're going to get to see this new car debut there at Dallas with Sphere. I guess Bucky, he's got to be in X Games doing some skateboarding stuff. But Sphere, I'm pretty excited to see this new Subaru and all the development work they've put into it. I know this year's kind of a rebuilding year, but pretty excited to see them back on the grid.
Yeah, it'll be really exciting to see him back on the grid, and especially Sparrow, I think. And this is good. This is 16 turns for him. It'll be pushing and testing the Subaru. And last year was definitely a development year for them, just like we saw with the Beatles. Remember, the Beatles' first year out, they had a lot of issues. So it's pretty typical for a new car and to need a developmental year. So I think Dallas will be a good opportunity, since it's not the doubleheader, to really see them push beyond the limit. All the manufacturers and Subaru, it'll be good to have them back out there, and I'm hoping they'll be competitive. I'm sure they'll be competitive. And Sfera, the Viking, I guess he's not the real Viking because that's Anders Krohn, but we call him, he also calls himself the Viking, but he's a crazy man out there. I love him. I love when he's out there because he mixes things up.
Oh, he doesn't back down to anybody. That's one thing I'll say about Sfera. He does not back down, and he knows how to win. I mean, he's won on 2 continents now. So I mean, the guy is definitely a wheelman.
Yeah, he is for sure. And there's a lot of turns on this track, so it'll be cool to see him if he slides a little bit, or if he can get more of that precision down with these turns to keep his time up. But yeah, so it'll be a good test. I'm excited for Subaru.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Kristen, for being in here in this debut GRC Curtain Call segment. We'll definitely do it again after Dallas. And with that, we're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, wrapping things up. Another awesome Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Oh, man, Marco Andretti, Kristen Kenney love debuting that new Curtain Call segment with Red Bull Global Rallycross. Joe Duncan with Terracross. Jarrett Brooks, my General Tire teammate. Along with my sidekick partner in crime, Amy Hood, who was bouncing in and out of the studio today. But also got to mention, along with Jarrett Brooks, I know General Tire, we talked a little bit about ARCA. Obviously, they are the official tire of the ARCA series this year. They've got not only do they do the pavement, circle track stuff, but ARCA going to be running a road course this weekend, and then they've got dirt track events scheduled in August and September. So if you are a fan of the ARCA series, you definitely want to be tuned in for those and support General Tire. Upcoming events, we got Motocross, World Rallycross, Torque, Baja 500, Rally America, Formula Drift, X Games. Man, it is locked and loaded the next couple of weeks. Not only that, but Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix, all that going on this weekend as well. Got to give a shout-out to Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish Rally School, MTX, Terracross, Blue Water Resort and Casino. Give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram and Twitter. At AmyHood71 is hers. DownandDirtyShow.com, and download our app, available on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, and the Amazon Kindle store. Thanks to all of you for tuning in, and we'll be back at you next week with another Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. Game on.